Yuba-Sutter.live's local government live streams are presented by Plumas Lake Self-Storage in Plumas Lake, where lifelong local residents are helping other residents keep things safe, providing indoor storage units, outdoor RV and vehicle parking, moving supplies, and Penske truck rentals. Details at plumaslakeselfstorage.com.
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Public comment. Mandy?
Public comment is an opportunity for members of the public to address the Board of Directors on any subject matter that is not on the meeting agenda and is within the board's subject matter jurisdiction. Public comment periods are limited to 3 minutes per person, and the total amount of time for public comment is 15 minutes. Persons participating by way of video conference or teleconference shall ensure their audio is muted at all times except when the board chair announces public comment periods. At those designated times, members of the public wishing to speak shall enable their audio and state their name for the record. When multiple members of the public wish to speak, the clerk will determine the order of speakers and announce their names accordingly. To ensure proper conduct, the board reserves the right to mute the audio and video of any member of the public violating generally accepted principles and decorum of official public meetings. We do not have any in-person or virtual public comments today.
All right, no public comments. Consent items. Anybody have any questions on the consent items?
So moved. I'll second.
Anyone from the public have any comments on consent items? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Oh, great. Discussion items. Consider authorizing a new capital expenditure budget line item in the amount of $1,150,000. The new line item will be used for the land purchase of assessor's parcel number 006-160-060 in the amount of $1,100,000 and to cover the transfer of $50,000 from the land management account. Funds for the land management account were used to cover costs related to the negotiation and purchase of the property. Willie.
So in a previous meeting, you authorized the general manager to negotiate and execute a purchase and sale agreement with a landowner that owns a parcel that extends from the Yuba River about 500 feet south or downstream of DeGear Dam north to Highway 20. We've successfully executed that agreement, and today's action is to make some budget adjustments and add $1.1 million to the budget to close that deal. The purpose of this acquisition is to gain access to specifically some, I'm going to call it 8 to 10 acres of land between the Cordua-Hallwood Canal and the Yuba River, primarily for habitat enhancement, and if any upgrades or improvements to the Hallwood-Cordua return pipe, fish return pipe are needed, we would have land control for any work there. We're highly encouraged by our regulatory agency partners in the Nature Like Fishway project to solve all of the issues that might occur at DeGear Dam, and one of them is potentially work at the return pipe there with Hallwood and Cordua. So this would allow us to get access to that part of the river, which we don't currently have. And in addition to that, there's upland land between the Hallwood-Cordua Canal and Highway 20 that does have potential for future habitat enhancement with vernal pools and potential oak plantings that might be required as mitigation to the Nature Like Fishway project. So the landowner listed this property for sale, I'm going to call it springtime last year, so it's been on the open market for several months, if not almost a year. It's out on the market at somewhere around $1.4 million listed. He dropped the price to like 1.35. We analyzed the benefits to Yuba Water and agreed on a purchase price of $1.1 million. We worked with both Hallwood and Cordua before we even engaged this board and the landowner to ensure that Hallwood and Cordua supported us taking this step and agreeing that we could work together if we needed to do any work for habitat or for the fish return pipe. So here we are today asking for the budget addition and moving $50,000 from the land management budget to this budget line item. That's where we are. There are no specific plans to do anything right now with any habitat on that project, but it's very likely that we will come up with something and include it in the overall permitting when we go to permit the Nature Like Fishway. This will be included in all of that. So time was of the essence because we are currently working with the Army Corps of Engineers on the 404 application and what will turn into a biological assessment and biological opinion for that overall project. So that's where we are today. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any questions from the board? None?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, okay. Any public comment? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? One opposed? Okay. Motion passes. Manager's report.
I have a question. In past board meetings, we've asked that members of the board explain their opposition vote, and I'm just
The
curious.
appraisal was 300,000, is that right?
I could have Curtis or someone come up and talk about the appraisal. We did analyze the benefits to Yuba Water Agency and the member units, and I'd be happy to get a representative of Hallwood to speak about the benefits to the overall water supply in the county if that's needed.
I haven't passed. I don't think we need to do that.
So we will be bringing, further land acquisition proposals to this board, and as we've done in the past, we use appraisals as a guide, and we always analyze the benefit to the water agency's mission and analyze the price based on the benefit to the water agency.
All right. Thank you. Manager's report.
All right, things are going well. The reservoir is full. We've had what we call an average water year. If you look at the monthly precipitation and snowpack analysis, it's been an up and down year, but overall a good year. We're encroached in the flood pool about 17,000 acre feet. Our team's working with the Army Corps and managing that flood pool. They have approved our current operation, so we'll have a good water year. Narrows 2 is currently shut down for annual outage. Things are going well. We did plan on doing a bunch of work to the turbine shutoff valve. We're going to have to forego some of that work because we spent a bunch of time working on a flow meter that's inside the tunnel that runs from Englebright to the unit. The flow meter's been in for almost 20 years, and there was some damage to some conduit, and we have improved all that, but we ended up spending a bunch of time working on that and had to forego the work on the turbine shutoff valve, which will be fine. We'll just do that at a later date. These storms we've had the last several weeks, they've been colder than the storms we had earlier in the year. Those storms were much warmer. The earlier storms did fill the reservoir, but these storms have really helped the snowpack. Bring it to about average April 1st snowpack level. So what, it's mid-March now. We're about at the April 1st average, which that's the metric we use for water supply going forward, snow melt from April through June. So we're doing really well there. On the HR side, we have a new engineer that started on the 10th. That's good news. And we have offer letters out to an instrumentation communication tech and a utility worker. And on communication side, last week, DWR issued a press release announcing that the final report on forecast informed reservoir operations showing that it is, in fact, viable in the Yuba Feather watersheds. That news was picked up locally in the Sacramento Bee, CBS 13 in Sacramento, and Chico TV stations, as well as YubaNet. We also got a nice shout out in the Appeal Democrat for our sponsorship of the Day for Women. Upcoming sponsorships include the Yuba College Track and Field Golf Tournament on the 21st and the Kokanee Power Fishing Derby at Bullards on April 5th. And it took a little while. I won't throw her too far under the bus, but you have new lapel pins up there. We'll thank Dee Dee for that. On the community relations side, in February, Jackie Selman took the initiative to visit all first responder agencies across Yuba County, including fire departments, law enforcement, and emergency medical services. During these visits, she provided valuable information and education about the Bill Shaw grant application period, which opened on March 1st. As the board is aware, this grant serves as a crucial financial resource for first responder agencies in Yuba County. It is specifically designed to assist with one-time expenses related to purchasing emergency service vehicles, specialized equipment, or essential training for personnel to improve operational efficiency. As of today, 6 Bill Shaw applications have been submitted. Water conservation partnerships with the municipal water districts have continued with visits to 13 elementary school classrooms since October. Jackie has developed an introduction to the importance of water, including information about water sources. such as rivers, lakes, and oceans, as well as basic water conservation practices that students can implement at home. April is Water Conservation Month, and we've scheduled visits to additional classrooms. Upcoming meetings are April 1st, we'll have a regular board meeting and an ABP meeting.
Thank you. Any questions? Willie? All right.
Could you expand a little bit more on the forecasted operations, how that ties in to the arch spillway?
Yeah, so we've been working for several years with the Scripps Institute to identify the specifics of atmospheric rivers, intensity, duration, landfall location, timing, what they call this, I call it the snow bending effect. It's basically the elevation at which the precipitation turns from snow to rain, that type of stuff. We've been working with Department of Water Resources on how, if we do implement FERO in the Yuba-Feather watershed, how New Bullard's Bar would be operated currently without the arc spillway, and then subsequently after the arc spillway is constructed, and how they would operate the Orville Reservoir when in both of those scenarios. We've worked with the Army Corps of Engineers on how the water control manual will be updated. And I think the summary here is FERO in the Yuba-Feather watershed with both New Bullard's Bar and Orville will be beneficial and provide a flood control benefit. It provides a little bit of a benefit without the arc spillway, and we've been unofficially operating under FERO for the last few years based on what we're learning. But with the arc spillway, there's a tremendous benefit given the additional storage space you can use in releasing water in advance of a storm.
And then also, not only for flood protection, but for more water reliability, because you can encroach better with the forecasting.
Yeah, there's a flexible flood space that's been proposed in all of this work. I'll just give the background on FERO in California. So FERO in California started with Lake Mendocino. Sonoma Water looked into utilizing FERO specifically for water supply and less for flood control. Orange County at Lake Prado also looked at using FERO for water supply, but in a different manner than Sonoma Water. Sonoma Water was surface water storage in Lake Mendocino. Orange County at Lake Prado used it for storing water in Lake Prado and then releasing it to do groundwater recharge. So it's more of a groundwater storage program. And then Yuba Water Agency, it was kind of the third entity to look into FERO, but specifically for flood control and advanced releases or releases in advance of a storm. However, given the flexibility of the water control manual, there may be times when we can encroach more into the flood space because the Army Corps and others are comfortable that we could release water quickly to get out of the flood space if necessary. So it just gives us more flexibility to encroach in the flood pool. There's not a specific volume of water in any given water year that has been identified as in a Schedule 1 year you'll have X additional water, or Schedule 2 you'll have Y additional water. That's not what's currently being proposed. It's just additional flexibility to encroach in the flood space.
Thank you.
I guess the point there is we're focused on flood risk reduction. By utilizing FERO, there may be a water supply benefit.
All right, any other questions? We'll do director's comments. Start down here. Director Bishop. Director Matthews. Director Bradley.
Just a few things. So back on the 7th, I attended the afternoon portion of the NACWA annual meeting up at Sierra Nevada. That was a great event, as usual. I've got a NACWA executive committee meeting tomorrow. And then yesterday, Valley Vision hosted a session down in Sacramento called Building Regional Resilience in the Capital Region. And one of the 3 speakers there was Joanna Lassard, and she talked about forest resiliency and the partnership that the Water Agency has. She did an outstanding job, so just want to give her props. So,
Thank you. Okay. No report. Director House.
Just wanted to thank the workers here at Yuba Water for inviting us to attend the Farm Bureau dinner with them. It was a good event, good evening to get to know some of our employees a little bit better and have a little fun, represent the water agency well. They did mention numerous times the sponsorship of and thanking Yuba Water for their sponsorship. So money well spent in the PR game. So, but other than that, April is, you got Earth Day, Water Conservation Month, all that. So a lot of the local schools are looking for resources. So it's good to hear that the staff's being proactive and going out and finding those opportunities and creating some additional entry-level conservation courses. So appreciate it.
Director Vasquez.
Got a whirlwind tour of Lower Colorado River, March 12th through the 14th. It hit 3 states, Nevada, Arizona, and California, and actually crossed over into Mexico too. Got to walk the London Bridge twice. They came out with a new, very informative information booklet on the Colorado River Basin, and that's brand new, and I'm going to get copies for all the directors. So, thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate that. All right. I will make mine short and sweet too. I'd like to thank Yuba-Sutter for sponsoring the 4-H Color Me 5K run. We had a little Yuba-Sutter agency team. Me, Rennick was there, but he was on the 4-H deal, or did you do it through the water agency? Anyway, and the same with Will Giesler. And then Vanjie, Kayla, and Natalie, and myself all were dressed in Yuba-Sutter agency swag and stuck together. I'll brag, I won first place in my age group, and I also won last place in my age group. Vanjie won first place in her age group, and I believe Will won as well. So it's just great to see, our employees are like family, just really impressive. When Vanjie and Natalie had to leave early because they were taking donuts to the crew that were working on an outage at Narrows. So it's really neat to see that, the employees doing that stuff. So that's it. That being said, I will adjourn the meeting.
Yuba-Sutter.live's local government live streams are presented by Plumas Lake Self-Storage in Plumas Lake, where lifelong local residents are helping other residents keep things safe, providing indoor storage units, outdoor RV and vehicle parking, moving supplies, and Penske truck rentals. Details at plumaslakeselfstorage.com.
Yuba-Sutter Home Garden and Lifestyle Expo. Friday to Sunday to the place to grow. Let's discover ways to make our lives shine bright. Join us for a weekend filled with pure delight.
Get spiced, pampered, explore, munch, and see more than 100 vendors that bring
variety. Get details at ysHome.show. Together we'll create. Let this passion flow.
Yuba-Sutter.live. It's the truth that comes through.